When I was a wee lad, my parents used to take my siblings and I to church regularly. If you know anything about the black church, you know it's loud, you enter at 9 a.m., and you don't leave until 9 p.m. Because of this, I was often scolded for falling asleep. I was mainly tired because, well, in those days, I was up late Saturday nights playing classics such as Banjo-Kazooie and Ocarina of Time. The thing though is that context doesn't matter to a lot of old black folks. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and well, that mantra applies not only to fair-skinned labs, but the black ones too. They thought my lack of enthusiasm for the word would lead to a young brother being seduced by the devil. They would say things like, "Don't bring that Harry Potter in my house, that's witchcraft." And that I say, wait till they find out I'm streaming Hogwarts Legacy at twitch.tv/theblackokage.
Shout the season,
Harry Potter and Pokemon should be the last of their worries because I just took the audience's recommendation of watching Chensō Man, and oh boy, welcome back to a series that I call Third Time's a Charm. Charm. Like the bracelet. Listen, Valentine's Day is coming up. You should probably get your girl one. Anyways, if you're unfamiliar with Third Time's a Charm, know this is a series where I take the unwritten rule of giving a new anime 3 episodes, I share my first impressions, and then I let you know if I plan to continue to watch the show. And since I just made a bunch of Bible thumper jokes, think of this series as the Bible for casual anime fans. In the previous episode, I tackled the anime Blue Lock. You see what I did there? If not, it's an anime about soccer or football if you're from across the pond. If you missed that video on Blue Lock, I will leave a link in the description box below. Check out that video after you finish watching this one. Seriously, don't deprive this channel of its much needed watch time. You don't want that on your conscience, do you? And while I got you feeling guilty, you might as well hit the like button too. But back to Chensō Man. This is the latest recommendation from you, the viewer. So trust me, I'm going to blame you, the viewer, if I felt like my time was wasted. Lucky for you, I don't feel like my time was wasted. See, Chensō Man is a shonen manga first conceived in 2018. Now, obviously, the source material became popular enough to where it received its own anime adaptation. I haven't read the manga, so I can't speak to how accurate it is to the source material, but what I can tell you is that this anime is fire. Without spoiling anything too crazy, Chensō Man is the tale of Denji. He's a teenager living in a world where humans coexist with devils. For this show, devils aren't necessarily the same as we perceive them in the real world or how they do in Black Clover. Instead, I'd compare them to more like Pokemon. Yeah, some are crazy and scary looking, but some are small and cute, i.e. Denji's partner, the Chainsaw Devil. In this world, you can make a blood contract with a devil, and in exchange, you get access to their powers similar to the Ghost Rider. The only issue is that most of these devils corrupt humans, so society is plagued by madness. To counter that madness, special forces were formed known as Devil Hunters. These people have gifts designed to take down those who mean harm to humanity. One of these Devil Hunters is our protagonist, Denji. He can summon chainsaws on his hands and face, so he walks around looking like he's wielding stale breadsticks from Olive Garden as weapons.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. All I know is that Olive Garden's unlimited breadsticks and soup saved my tail more than once when I was in them trenches struggling to get by. Jokes aside, that's why they call him Chensō Man. Pretty self-explanatory. What I do feel like I need to explain is why I enjoy this show. I hate to do this because I feel like I'm always comparing stuff to Black Clover. It's because I really like Black Clover, screw y'all. But anyways, I enjoyed Chensō Man for the same reason that I enjoyed Black Clover. The supporting cast in combination with the world they crafted and its lore is why I like Chensō Man. Most of the supporting cast has their own motivations and convictions, and the show does a great job of giving them just enough screen time to where they're able to convey their motivations. Not to mention the art in the show is amazing. Top tier, dare I say. You're not gonna see much of that CG stuff. This looks like an old school hand-drawn show, and I really enjoyed the matted colors. It gives the show this whole watercolor painting style to it. I mean, imagine a world where Bob Ross created an anime about killing devils.
And just beat the devil out of him.
The music in this show is awesome too. There's a lot of metal and synthwave that perfectly matches the gruesome fights in this show. This show is very bloody, and if you're looking for something new to watch with the kiddos, this is not the anime in my opinion. Unless you're one of those parents that doesn't care about their 4-year-old watching monsters get their head cut off, that's none of my business. Just giving you a heads up. Also, I'm gonna give you a heads up that there is a dub for this show, and it's well done in my opinion. Characters' voices all have emotion, which kept me interested in what's going on. If you notice, I haven't mentioned much about the main protagonist. It's because, to be honest, I don't like him. It amazes me that people will hate Asta for screaming, but then champion a character with no real conviction. At the top of the show, his motive was to pay off his debts to the mafia, but things happen, he loses that motive, and then his new motive is free food and a chance to squeeze some boobs from his female coworkers. This guy doesn't seem to worry about sexual harassment lawsuits in the workplace. The dude is a straight pervert, and not the funny kind like the great boy from My Hero Academia. Some of you will probably call me a boomer, but I just didn't find the fan service entertaining or funny in the show. It actually made me cringe. That being said, I haven't finished the show. Actually, I don't even know if the show is finished. All I can tell you is that I am 7 episodes in, and the rule to third time's a charm is 3 episodes. The fact that I watched 4 more should tell you that my issues with the show weren't big enough to drop it. Also, things could change. This is just my first impressions. Where I left off on the show, you could tell the show is slowly introducing its first major villain, and maybe we'll see some character development from what currently is just a juvenile teenager with superpowers. Despite my issues with the show, I'd still recommend checking this one out. That speaks volumes to the strength of the supporting cast, the lore, and the action in the show. This one has potential to be truly great if they just cleaned up some of the stuff that I mentioned earlier. I also mentioned earlier about my video on Blue Lock. You should check that out. There will be a link in the description box below. And if you don't check it out, I'll shove a Kamehameha beam up your bum. And if your butt hurts, you'll be all out of whack. And if you're all out of whack, well, then you're just gonna have to check out my new 24/7 lo-fi channel called Perfect Vibes. It'll chill you out. I'm just saying.